r/ask Reddit. What a-hole fact do you know that will ruin the fun for everyone? There are more jugglers than polar bears. You'll get vitamin A poisoning if you eat the liver of a polar bear. And you will get hepatitis if you eat the liver of a jagallo. Dogs love squeaky toys because it's from their wolf instinct of almost dead prey still whimpering. I read about something similar where cats do a lot of similar things like claw at their toys with their hind legs because it's an instinct they still have to disembowel their prey. And I think kneading was something creepy like that too. TL. Doctor, our pets have terrifying instincts and we should be glad they haven't tried to kill us in our sleep. Cats kneading is looking for stimulating nipples on their mother's belly, a regressive behavior. The folds in your a-hole are completely unique, similar to fingerprints. An a-hole fact. Can it unlock your phone? You must put it way up inside your butthole, way up inside there, as far as it can fit. Every year on the anniversary of its arrival, the Mars rover sings happy birthday to itself, millions of miles from anyone. Wish that had been in the book film The Martian. Guy trapped alone on Mars starts taking apart and jerry-rigging the rovers to communicate with NASA for him, and all of a sudden one of them just starts blasting happy birthday LOL. Andy Weir felt the book was already too depressing. Right now someone is starving to death. They will die by the time you finish work today. That is my trick. I never started work today. Holiday Savalives. The old Bono method. At a concert in Scotland, he silenced the crowd, then clapped his hands a few times and said, "Every time I clap my hands, a child in Africa dies." One Scottish man screamed through the silence, "Well, Duckin, stop doing it then. You're evil bastard." Edit. To be clear, I did not witness this myself. I saw it online somewhere. Scientists found a whale that sings at a frequency of 52 Hz, whereas the standard for most whales is around 15-25 Hz. This means that this whale cannot communicate with other whales, was found to travel alone, and is pretty much going to be alone forever because of something that they cannot control or change. Maybe it's not a lonely whale, it's the enlightened whale, who has surpassed whale suffering and now blissfully floats the deep in peace, not having to deal with other whale bullshit. I'm kind of jealous of this whale now. Maybe it's not a lonely whale, it's the enlightened whale, who has surpassed whale suffering and now blissfully floats the deep in peace, not having to deal with other whale bullshit. I'm kind of jealous of this whale now. It's the euphoric whale, not due to any phony god's blessing of proper tone, but due to his enlightenment from his own tone. Bread is actually unhealthy for ducks, so while feeding them bread, you're slowly killing them. I have some ducks that live in my yard and I knew bread was bad for them, so I found a website that said to give them unsalted sardines. I tried that and they looked at me like I was stupid. I never saw so much condescension in a duck's face. Edit. Freaked out when I pulled up Reddit and saw I had 90 comments. Saltines equals sardines. I will try the other suggestions next time and report back. Thank you for the gold. That duck is thinking WTF. I can catch that shit myself. I can't bake bread. You jerk. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Spiders molt. When you see a dead spider, there's a good chance that it isn't actually a dead spider. It's just an exoskeleton. The spider is still alive, and it's bigger than before. Duck you. I told a little girl that dogs live to be around 10 years old. She asked how long humans lived. I told her around 80. She did the math and a deep set depression set in. Easy counter. Tell her she gets a new puppy at least 8 times. Oh my god, we live less than 8 dogs. Air Bud had a leg amputated due to cancer in 1997 and died from it in 98. Well, the movie was 19 years ago. I wasn't expecting him to be alive still. 19 years ago was 1997, so if all these statistics I did not verify are correct, he died from cancer the year after the movie was released. You can be healthy, exercise, live right and still drop dead unexpectedly. Are there any examples of people who've? Sadly, I had a friend in high school who had this happen to his dad. The guy loved marathons, drinking seaweed smoothies and nasty healthy stuff like it. He didn't do drugs, smoke or drink alcohol. Healthiest person you can imagine. He went for a routine run one morning and just collapsed. For those asking, Unfortunately, I do not know what was the cause of death. I went to HSNW suburb of Chicago. It was not Mr. Fixx. There is no cloud. It's just some stranger's computer. Explained the cloud to people at work in a fairly simple way. They were like, what? It's just a bunch of hard drives? I thought it wasn't physical. How? How would it not be physical? They probably think it just floats around in the air in the form of tiny clouds of electrons or something. Most people will eventually get hemorrhoids. Been there, done that. My arsehole looks like the song. On a serious note, get them checked out. I bled from the arse after every shit for a year, but a simple day surgery fixed it. Blokes, there is nothing wrong with seeing a doctor. The little piggy who went to market wasn't going shopping. Then why was one of them getting roast beef? Or is the rhyme only describing 3 pigs? The roast beef pig who was fat and sent to market, the pig who ate none and stayed home, and the pig who ran home? The first piggy brought to market was brought to be slaughtered, sold and slaughtered. Second piggy was kept home to breed stock. Third piggy had roast beef to fatten him up before trip to market. Fourth piggy had none because he was going to be slaughtered soon. And you want to limit the amount of material in the gut and bowels. Fifth piggy cried wee all the way home as he escaped from the market and will not face the same fates as pigs 1-4. Source: http://www.yowlevat.com. This little piggy dissected. Everybody on earth is pretty much walking around with a couple of pounds of shit inside of them. Not me. I'm lactose intolerant and had a pint of Häagen-Dazs last night. Cleaned me right out. Earwigs can fly. Duck you. Earwigs have characteristic cerci, a pair of forceps-like pincers on their abdomen, and membranous wings folded underneath short forewings. Earwigs rarely use their flying ability. Rarely? Like once a year? Or once an unlikely victim walks by? Please clarify. Dolphins are violent rapists. So are ducks and otters. And humans. Dora is not actually talking to you. She can't hear Yardit. My first big comment: I am a little excited. She asked me which one was the bridge. I told her, and she said that's right. You can't explain that. But, we helped her summon the map. That the voice of Optimus Prime and Eeyore are the same person. Christopher Robin. Rollout. Edit. Christopher Robin is said in Optimus' voice and Rollout is said in Eeyore's voice. In the movie XXX, the part where the main character slides down a line from a parachute to a boat, you are literally watching a man die. The stuntman who slid down that line did not make it under that bridge. He slammed into it at full speed. I learned this while watching the director's commentary on the DVD. They used the footage still because, according to the commentary, that's how dedicated we are to entertaining you. Open bracket. I can't remember the quote fully, but that was the gist. I'll never be that dedicated to being entertained that I'll accept someone dying for it. Stunt men and women are fantastic athletes who do amazing stuff. But if something is not done right, they get hurt or worse. Mistakes are not acceptable in that business. The second they do become acceptable, stuntmen become disposable. I will not accept that. Edit. For those of you talking about Ben-Hur, the 1928 silent version did have actors die. The newer one did not. Snopes link those asking for a link. Someone else has already replied directly to this comment with one. Please use that and update him for visibility. Edit. Some people are saying that it was a second take that wasn't used that killed O'Connor. That is not what the director says in the commentary. Links about the incident. http://www.ad.com item 96604 asks. This one echoes what I remember from the commentary, that they used the footage and cut before he hit. http://whatculture.com film/10 movie stunts didn't know killed people. Page equals 7. This one lends credence to the second take not being used. If someone can link to an official source, Wikipedia doesn't count. Their source doesn't mention it. Please do. I would love to know. I didn't repeatedly watch someone die before learning this. I still will not watch the movie knowing the guy died trying to get a better shot though. If I was a stuntman and I created a sweet scene that ended in me dying, I'd want it in the movie 100%. I'm not going out like that with nothing to show for it. My family can recover compensation from the producers afterwards, but the scene shouldn't go to waste. The search and rescue dogs on 9/11 were literally becoming depressed because they only found dead bodies. Their handlers started taking turns burying themselves in the rubble so the dogs could actually rescue someone. They were trained such that they got praise and rewards when they found a living person. That's what their whole training was. Find people. If in a real world scenario, where there is hardly anyone to find, their training doesn't make sense anymore. They get confused and irritated because their task becomes impossible. If I gave you a gold star every time you completed a paper maze, then gave you a maze with no end that just keeps looping back in itself, eventually you'd just say duck this and go jerk off or whatever. Everyone seems to have latched onto the masturbation joke and ignored my point about how the way the dogs are trained makes this type of situation inevitable. Toddlers don't have kneecaps until they are around 3-5 years old. It doesn't really ruin the fun for everyone. I just like to see the look on the parents' faces when I tell them their toddler doesn't have kneecaps. Actually, the cartilage simply hasn't hardened yet. Then, I watch in sheer delight as they sprint over to their child and feel their toddler's non-existent kneecaps and wonder what's genetically wrong with them. Edit. Some sources say ages could range from 2 to 6 years. I'm a gymnastics coach who teaches some preschool and mommy and me level classes. Some parents are just mortified that their 18-month-old can't jump up and down with 2 feet. They're pretty flawed when I explain to them that no, your kid isn't necessarily a failure at life who will never get into good college because it can't figure out how to jump. It just doesn't have fully formed kneecaps yet. Edit. Quite a few people saying they know kids under 2 who can jump off both feet. What I am talking about is the ability to do a straight jump with both feet leaving the ground and landing at the same time. A lot of toddlers can jump, but with it's more of a gallop type jump where one foot leaves the ground before the other. There are other reasons your kid is a failure at life who will never get into a good college. You are born too late to explore the earth and too early to really explore space. That no matter what you do in this life, all of us are going to eventually die and the majority of us will be completely forgotten to the world. You are supposed to ruin my fun, not make me feel relieved. Seriously, once I accepted this I was really able to exhale a bit and not take life so seriously. The sound of the inmates yelling in the background of Johnny Cash's recording of Folsom Prison Blues Live at Folsom Prison was added in post-production. The inmates in the audience were silent the whole time because they were too scared of the guards. Edit. I googled around to double check and it seems that I was misremembering about that last part. My bad. They weren't entirely silent, but the cheering after I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die was edited in. https://en Wikipedia. Wiki Folsom Prison Blues Live recording. 2C 1968 http://feboot.com Truth behind Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues revealed. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. WHOOOO. Yep, murder. I always thought that was a creepy response. Sea otters, cute as they may be, rape baby seals to death. Or, more accurately, the baby seals drown while being raped because the otters hold them down. And seals that survive grow up to rape penguins. The cycle of abuse. In the time it took you to read this post, someone died, someone was raped, and someone's car and or home was broken into. Duck, I better check my car. Too late, it's been raped. Peter Pan was really an angel of death that held kids' hands on their way to heaven. Neverland. That's why all those kids never grew up. They were dead. This is debatable, I believe. He did kill older kids that were too old for Neverland though, which brings speculation as to whether the pirates were older boys that survived the attack, or ran away, and wanted to seek revenge on Peter Pan. Hook lost his arm in the attack that was supposed to kill him, etc. All speculation. Everyone makes fun of the lady who won millions of dollars because of the McDonald's caution hot coffee cup lawsuit. The temperature of the coffee was scalding on purpose to save money. In reality, she only sued for medical damages at first, but McDonald's offered practically nothing. She was later awarded $640,000 at the end of the trial, possibly a different amount altogether since it was settled out of court afterwards. It makes me sad that people judge others when they don't know the real story. Wiki article edit. Whoa. Did not expect this kind of reaction. I didn't know what RIP inbox meant until now. Also, sorry for misinformation about why the coffee was so hot. Worked in a liquor store. The same 25 or so people would come in every day and buy a pint of Fifth of vodka. Every day, I would point out to them it is much cheaper over the long run just to buy a gallon. They would mostly shrug and buy their pint or Fifth. I realized later they were high functional alcoholics who, knowing they would drink every drop available, just bought what they could consume daily and remain semi-functional. When if they moved up in bottle size you could see the effects in their dress and speech. Many were professionals. Data is plural. Datum is singular. Dates beautiful should really be data are beautiful. Sugar-free gummy bears are a fantastic way to diet. Gordon Ramsay thinks Girl Scout cookies taste like shit. What the hell is this? Processed flour, corn syrup, some dye I can't pronounce, and you're trying to pass this off as cooking? This tastes like it came off of a ducking store shelf. Sir, I'm 6. Denis Leary toured with Bill Hicks, stole his material and launched his career. Bill Hicks died of cancer. Denis Leary's debut album was called No Cure for Cancer. Prions exist. Your mom and dad had have each other's private parts in their mouth, and sometimes at the same time. Diamonds are intrinsically worthless, and purebred dogs are super inbred at it. I'm referring to diamonds as used in jewelry and using the words of a diamond importer since you guys love to nitpick everything. They're not worthless. They are incredibly useful for many industrial applications in cutting and grinding. Their value is inflated but they aren't worthless. And what about the diamonds? Art's account is 7 hours old, has only one post and already has more r/all posts than many of us. Edit. 9 hours old with 3x/4x the amount of karma my 5-month account has. Thanks for nothing you/spez. We top 1% karma redditors hold half the karma Reddit. You/Bernie Sanders would like a word with you. We are the Reddit 99%. Comrades. We must seize the memes of production from these greedy ivory tower shit posters and spread the karma among the deserving masses. There is no gender pay gap in the US, UK or AUS. Only women who work less hours, can't negotiate higher salaries, and pick lower paying jobs. Runs away. Edit. This comment is mostly a joke. There is a discrepancy when it comes to total earnings over a lifetime. Sure, I agree with that. I don't agree with the 77 cents to $1, though. Can't negotiate higher salaries, and can't handle being yelled at. These are completely subjective determinations that stray very far from the word fact. I have a friend who is a police officer in Queensland, Australia, and she was telling me she gets paid more than a male counterpart with the same qualifications and length of service. The reason? She gets paid a stocking allowance. For young people who are obsessed with the superior audio quality of records, unless the audio was originally recorded on vinyl, the quality of the recording will be identical to what you'd hear on a CD or your computer. In other words, you're wasting your money buying vinyl for albums that were originally recorded on digital. Your Foster the People record is a sham. Edit. Many people have pointed out that originally, records were recorded on analog tape, not vinyl. So I guess I should have said unless the audio was originally recorded on analog. Forgive me for not knowing all of the terminology. Others have pointed out that the recording will not in fact be identical to a CD or digital recording. My point was more that the audio isn't necessarily better just because you're listening to the record. Some hot dogs, sausages, or any kind of processed meat for that matter is basically all the shit butchers throw out like ears, feet, organs, etc. This is one way to use every part of the animal. Source. My dad's a pig farmer. I think that's a good fact. We killed it to eat it, so we had better eat all of it. The above average effect. If asked whether they're above average, the majority of individuals will reply they are, which is a statistical impossibility in probability. Seems like I angered a few people. Realistically, you're as average as anyone else in the room. What? It's absolutely possible. Imagine 99 people earning 100k a year, and one person being without work and thus earning nothing. Average salary is 99k, so 99% of people are above average. I don't disagree with your statement as a whole, but saying it's statistically impossible is just bullshit. pointing out laugh tracks, playing videos on YT of your friends' fave sitcoms with it removed and ask them if they think it is funny, or laugh if there is a real moment of funny and then ask them why they didn't laugh. On the flip side, add laugh tracks to The Office and see how tiring it gets. Raspberry flavoring equals beaver anal glands. Enjoy. Like, I just want to know who ate the beaver anal glands first and thought, hell, this would be awesome to use for flavoring everyday products. 50% of Americans have average or below average IQs. Think about how stupid the average person is, and then realize that half of them are stupider than that. George Carlin. When you smell my fart, particles that have touched the inside of my anus are now touching the inside of your nose. Dr. Seuss' wife Helen died by suicide with an overdose of barbiturates after a series of illnesses, including cancer, spanning 13 years. Geisel was also despondent over her husband's burgeoning relationship with Audrey Stone Diamond. Feeling unable to live without him, Helen Geisel wrote in her suicide note, "Dear Ted, what has happened to us? I don't know. I feel myself in a spiral, going down down down, into a black hole from which there is no escape, no brightness, and loud in my ears from every side I hear, failure, failure, failure. I love you so much. I am too old and enmeshed in everything you do and are, that I cannot conceive of life without you. My going will leave quite a rumor, but you can say I was overworked and overwrought. Your reputation with your friends and fans will not be harmed. Sometimes think of the fun we had all through the years. TL. Dr. Seuss' wife committed suicide after Dr. Seuss cheated on her with another woman while she was going through cancer. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.